My 41 meters wife, 41F, took off her wedding ring after 11 plus years. After 11 years of marriage and 3 young kids together, my wife took off her wedding ring. B is in sales, so appearance matters. I don't wear mine all the time, but I always put it on when I go out. I take my wedding vows very seriously. I would never cheat. I know what it feels like to be created on. When I asked her why she isn't wearing it anymore, she said she took it off while cleaning about a month ago. I asked her if it felt weird to not have it on for the first time in 12 years, and she said it did. I trust her 99% that she is not cheating or trying to. I made the decision to follow her lead and have not been wearing mine for the past couple weeks. To my surprise, I have been getting hit on. One example is when the other day I stopped at a bar, as I have done hundreds of times, normally with a wedding ring on, and without any engagement a woman bought me a drink. I told her in a roundabout way that I was married with 3 young kids, and she spent the rest of the time apologizing for hitting on me. 2. I tapped her bartender friend 300% and dipped out. 2. I tell my wife, or would that be a bad idea? Should I put the ring back on? To be honest, it has really wrecked my confidence the way quarterly sex with my wife used to, and I need that for my mental health. I love my wife to death, but things have not been good between us after moving 2,800 miles to her hometown where I don't know anyone. I have been trying to treat her in a way that makes her want to love me again, but things just seem to be getting worse. I am getting tired. Please be kind with your comments. I'm just a guy, husband, father trying to figure things out.
Quarterly sex? You want her to love you again? I think there are bigger issues here that you aren't detailing. Leaving off her wedding ring is definitely not a good thing, and neither is you gaining confidence from interest you're receiving outside of the marriage. Are you two happy? That's the deal?
That caused this. I have been trying to treat her in a way that makes her want to love me again, but things just seem to be getting worse. I am getting tired. Quote.
Her taking off the ring is a symptom. You gotta work on curing the cause.
Both of you put your rings back on. All it takes is one person to destroy what you have built for 12 years.
After reading your moments, there's a whole lot more going on in your relationship than just taking off wedding rings. You and your wife need to have a serious sit-down discussion about your relationship. Definitely couples therapy, if you're up for it. Things seem to have been going down the wrong path for quite some time. I wish you luck and happiness.
I'm pretty confused about the fact that you haven't consistently worn your ring the entire time, yet her doing the same warrants distrust?
Seems like you're leaving a lot out of this story. I've been my wife 31 years and married for 26. I wore my ring for years until I nearly lost my finger when my ring got caught. I haven't worn it in probably 18 or 19 years. I'm still just as married as I was when I wore the ring. I don't go to bars alone to get hit on and tip someone 300% to prove a point. If you're here asking if you should tell your wife something, then you already know what you did was wrong and she'd have a problem. It. King or no ring, if women want to hit on you they will. I have a hard time believing you went one time WOA ring and was hit on, etc. There's something not being said that would tie all this together.
I sometimes don't wear my ring. It was during pregnancy and could. Entirely a comfort, practical thing and nothing to do with the state of my marriage. You took yours off because you were feeling insecure about your marriage. That is not the answer. It's time to discuss with your wife your issues instead of making symbolic gestures that are basically fixing nothing.
His whole leaving the wedding bands off sounds like a recipe for disaster, and I don't buy a single bit that she took it off to clean and had forgotten to put them back on for a whole month, after 11 years of that never having been a thing.
Wounds like y'all are both wanting out of the marriage, but both of y'all are too mentally weak to communicate. Your kids are suffering in this hopeless marriage and will model their own relationships in the same pattern. You owe it to them to set a better example of a healthy relationship. If you're just a parent, do it separate.
Now exactly are things bad between you two? I honestly don't believe a marriage of 11 plus years suddenly goes bad because you two moved away. That are discussions you, often, have. What do you discuss with your wife and what does she discuss with you? Do you have any friends or hobbies? Does your wife have any friends or hobbies? Are you and your family-in-law on good terms?
Her not wearing her rings sounds like the least of your problems. First, why are you going to bars alone? Take her with you, make it a proper date. Second, quarterly sex? Really? Take her on a date and treat her the way you probably did before you two were married. When the night ended in sex. Last, if you're really trying to treat her in a way to make her love you, I doubt taking off your ring and going to a bar alone is going to accomplish that. It sounds like you both got too caught up in the routine of everyday life and printing and lost sight of what actually brought you together.
Wait, so she moved to her hometown and now isn't wearing her wedding ring? That sounds fish as hell.
I'm reading a lot of things that point to, maybe we're not getting our needs met enough in this relationship. Quarterly sex. Foy. Every relationship is different, but clinical literature suggests that less than monthly is a red flag for a relationship's longevity. We moved and I don't have friends anymore. Being hit on is a big deal. These are all bad signs that you're not getting your needs met or feeling unmoved. That could be wrong, but these are very common sign for the average person. All that to say that if you feel it rings true, then it's time to have a real vulnerable discussion with your wife about both your needs and how to recollect. If it doesn't ring true, then don't worry about it.
When my husband and I were first married, I worked in a job where I got tapped pretty regularly. I noticed I got way bigger tips if I wore tight parts, and even bigger ones if I accidentally dropped my pen and had to turn around and bend over to pick it up. I was very front with my husband about what I was doing and the resulting money, and he thought it was hilarious. My ass was amazing, in all honesty, so we both knew why this was working. He trusted me and knew the money was helping pay the bills and then some, so it wasn't a big deal. Ask your wife if she gets better sales with it off. Whatever her reason, she should have told you when she started it. But having an honest, open conversation now will help.
Wounds like you used your wife's decision to not wear a ring as an excuse to hang out in bars pretending you're single.
I'm a woman. Long before I got married, I had a face wedding ring I would wear out if I wanted left alone. It made no difference. Once I got married and wore my rings, it made no difference. Honestly, some guns would say, "He's not here," if I pointed them out. Kings on a woman usually make no difference to men who want to flirt. If you trust your wife, let it go.
I would feel much more comfortable if she would tell me, "Congress on the amazing ass, my wife has one too." I would be up with it if I knew why she took it off. I'm happy that your relationship with your husband allows for open dialogue. I am here to try and learn how to have that, since I now realize taking my ring off was a bad idea.
That happened when you had more of a conversation with her about this? Seems like the most logical thing to do before going to strangers online.
Any chance she lost it and is afraid to tell you? My sister has lost countless rings while cleaning, and the first time she was terrified to tell my bill. He's since lost one or two, so they have cheap $40 Palmer rings.
Correct me if I'm missing something, but your wife is a former alcoholic that was verbally and mentally abusive while she was drinking, but has since gotten extra distant now that she's sober. To the point she moved into a guest bedroom. You guns rarely get intimate, and your communication about things other than your kiss is pretty much zip. Neither of you are properly addressing or communicating what's wrong in your lives, and instead of trying to talk things out, you've gone petty with small digs in public and taking your ring off to see what happens. That sums up what's going on pretty well.
Honestly, I think this marriage is over.
I don't think either of you are happy with each other, and it's just a matter of time before that turns toxic for the kiss. The only way to recover would be for both of you to attend therapy by yourselves in addition to marriage counseling. The purpose of this therapy would be to figure out what's going wrong with the both of you and communicating that to each other. The ring removal is not the problem. The inability to properly communicate, that has gone on for years, is the problem. And communication may reveal cracks that can't be repaired. That's okay. It's better to find that out.
Not wearing a wedding ring is not really a problem itself. There are a lot of married people who don't wear them because they can be uncomfortable and irritate your fingers. That is the problem, though, is not wearing them. going to places where you interact with single people, and then not making it obvious that you are married. For example, you are going to a bar. Carried people really have no business in bars to begin with, and you're going in there without a ring on and having drinks with women.
There are things going on much deeper here than a wedding ring. Are you sure she's not cheating?
It's a problem when your wife suddenly takes off her ring. You should check.
It sounds like you have poor communications between each other. Maybe try making time to talk to your wife? You seem to think a lot of things and not say much of anything.
Okay, just going to throw this out there. Have you guns tried role-playing? Both of you could meet up at a bar, singles, and hit on each other. That way you both get to act like new lovers and raining the sparks?
Hearing the ring means F all. If someone wants to cheat, they will do it with the ring on, or take it last minute before the cheating encounter. He and my wife only wear the rings on special occasions and can't be gathered otherwise. A piece of metal doesn't define our relationship. Of course, as already seen in your other replies, you have much bigger issues than just your wife not wearing the ring.
You only have sex quarterly? You need to make her want to love you again? Mind burying the lead here. Time to have a come to Jesus talk, and if nothing changes, the next talk is with a lawyer. The ring is irrelevant.
I think you guns need some clear communication. Of her not wearing her wedding ring others you should sit her down and express how you feel. It may be hard to do, but letting feelings and problems build up and fester won't make them go away. Now if you don't mind her not wearing her ring, and you not wearing yours, then there's no issue. But if you say your marriage isn't doing well and then you further the divide between you, that's a bad sign. You both are drifting apart.
Don't be an idiot. Then needs to also not be an idiot. I take my rings off for all sorts of reasons. Currently it's off because I got sick and was clay, sweat, and it annoyed me. I've forgotten to put it back on. It's been a month. His post reminded me. Volume. Grass is greatest where you water it.
His is just weird and feels like there's missing into. Why didn't you just have a direct and honest conversation about why she not wearing her wedding ring and how you feel about her taking it off? Your response to her behavior being to take off your ring too, and then focus on some attention you got without it is really not how I was expecting this post to go from reading the title, and honestly just doesn't make any sense for somebody who says they are committed to their spouse, marriage. That are you looking for advice on because it isn't clear from your post? Surely an actual conversation with your wife is the obvious thing to do here.
Fro, don't come at us with that "I trust her 99% nonsense. Trust isn't a percent. You either trust her or you don't, and you know you don't. You think you are getting attention now that you stopped wearing your ring? I guarantee she has been getting way more attention and probably has something on the side. I don't know what went wrong in your marriage or why you two can't seem to be honest with each other, but something needs to change. You are miserable, and the only reason you stopped wearing your ring was to low-key get back at her and see how she liked the same treatment. I'm betting that if she even noticed, she doesn't really care because you've not said one word of any reaction she might have had to this. Stop hussy-footing around and have the conversation you know you need to have with her. Well, her how unhappy you are and how alone and unmoved you feel being isolated in her hometown while she takes her ring off and leaves it off. Right for your relationship, or you will lose it if you haven't already.
We are seeing in real time how someone decides nationalized cheating is a great idea. Hope you'll keep us updated for science purposes.
I took my ring off about a month ago for the first time in 6 years. Because I need to take it to a jeweler to have it resided, cleaned. I've lost weight since we got engaged, so the platino band was becoming misshapen, and I didn't want to damage it further. Maybe just try having a conversation with your wife before jumping to conclusions.
You trust her 99%? I don't get that. Either you trust her, or you don't. And, quarterly sex. WTF, man?
Put the ring back on, and sit your wife down and talk to her about how you've been feeling. There are obviously issues. They need to be addresses before they grow out of control. Hearing a ring, not wearing a ring. That's not the real issue here. It may seem easier to just let it be and hope whatever's going on resolves itself, but it's unlikely. Little issues can fester, grow, and kill your relationship. Of you talk and neither of you can really pinpoint what's going on. Time to talk to a counselor. Think of it like going to a mechanic's. If your car is acting up and you can find and fix the issue, you're going to take it to a profession to figure it out.
Your wife took her ring off for a practical reason. You took your ring off to be petty and some kind of childish tit for tat. I totally get enjoying the feeling of being hit on, and that's not cheating. But to keep your ring off purposely for the reason of getting hit on crosses the line.
Wounds like you found an excuse to justify getting attention from other women.
Her taking her ring off is exactly the same message as if she had suggested that you both have an open marriage. They both amount to the same thing and are both death knell for your relationship. Leave some literature on the subject of divorce about the house. Her reaction will tell you pretty much all that you need to know. Good luck.